going all the way from here to Karnak Temple. Maybe about 2.7 kilometers or 3 kilometers like that, road and tank. The body, lion body, but the head of the king who built this temple is named Amenhotep III. The one who built, by the way, to be started for the memory, those times, the same period. About the temple dedicated to the main god, the given Amun, Mut, Khonsu, but the main purpose of building this temple, because King Amenhotep III, Hatshepsut, for example, the same idea for Hatshepsut she did. Hatshepsut lady, it's so difficult for her to accept her as a queen. Hatshepsut, she published when she ruled something like propaganda that the main god in her time, he married her mom, Amun-Ra. He married her mom, so Hatshepsut, he said, my Amun-Ra, my father. So easy for her to be a queen. The same idea for the pharaoh, Amenhotep III. He said, Amun-Ra, my father, and he married my mom, so I am the son of the god. So they accepted him as a king. But why he did this? Because this king, his mother also was a queen. Because supposed to be all the kings, they rule, their parents, king and queen. So he did, this, and he dealt with the priests. The priests, they helped him. So he dealt with them, he mentioned to them, I'm gonna build, the temple, and you have to help me. So why the priests, they helped him? The priests, they helped him because, they worked inside the temple, and the people, they gave them offering. So they take the offering for themselves. And also same time, they helped him to be a king. So that, both of them, they helped each other. Then, start by Amenhotep III. The first part, finished by Ramses II. So the temple by two pharaohs, Amenhotep III, then Ramses II. But you have small statues for King Tut. We have a small room for Alexander the Great. Also have some things for Muslims inside, something for Coptic. So many things inside this temple. So the first thing is king. Then we can see here two obelisks. One of them nowadays in France. Place de la Concorde. Muhammad Ali Pasha gave it as a gift to them. They gave him a clock. You went to Muhammad Ali Mosque in Cairo. You see the clock there? It doesn't work at all, huh? So they gave him a clock and he gave them obelisk till now in France. After you look, the obelisk guys, Ramses II kneeling in front of God Amun-Ra. How many statues are supposed to be? 6 statues. If you look, 2 statues sitting behind the obelisk, 1 statue. So 2 sitting here, 1 standing there, but supposed to be 4 standing, 2 sitting. Some of them you can see them destroyed. About the facade of the tower itself, King Ramses II, you can see him with his horse. He's fighting. Fighting with people we call them Hittites. Hittites nowadays Syrian. So famous battle between Ramses II and Hittites is that we call Kadish battle. What happened in this battle? By the end of this battle, Ramses II, he married one of the daughters of this country, Syria. And you can see him while he's fighting with those guys. About the windows here, supposed to be 4 windows. 2 here and 2 the other side, and also vertical grooves so each for 1 window. So guys, we're gonna see behind that tower the mosque. Why built by man, his name Abu al-Hajjaj. He came from Iraq. We're gonna see behind that. Guys, to the left here you can see a small lady, small statue of lady. Next to her, it's the Queen Nefertari. And Karnak, if you remember, in the hand, but here Queen Nefertari to the left. Assalamu alaikum. Take a look, guys. Can you see this?
Oh, is that where the wood went?
What?
The sycamore wood? Yeah.
Exactly. One here, and over there also one. But why here? This one.
Sorry, what is it?
So you know the sycamore that
This
they
one.
expand?
The ancient Egyptian, why during their building, they didn't use cement or mortar or anything like that. Something we call it love date. but to join two stones. But here just for crack. If you look, you can see crack to stop more cracking. So as they said, they put sycamore wood in this place to stop more cracking. So guys, the first thing, the temple tower, then the area common courtyard. Here you can see 3 rooms again, look like the 3 rooms in Karnak. More course. But behind here you can see that building. You see it? As I mentioned to you, it's mosque for Muslims. So why the mosque up to the top, not here?
Because seen better? So it can be seen better?
Same?
So you can see it.
No. Because when this man, the same idea in Karnak Temple, when this man, he came here, he found all this area under sand and mud. So when he came, the level of the ground over there. All this area under sand and mud. So he built his mosque here. The door, if you look, to the left there. And these windows. But nowadays they close the windows and the door. The entrance nowadays is from the other side. And it's still active. They pray inside this mosque nowadays. So this man, he came from Iraq about 700 or 800 years ago. His name Abu Hajjaj. Guys, about all these statues you can see, only put Ramses second. Sitting, standing, different crowns, all of them Ramses second. The best one, the one in the corner frame, you can see it. Ramses second with left leg forward. All of them Ramses second. And the crowns, by the way, there are 3 crowns. Double, white, red, so different crowns.
Also die 3 Kapellen, meine Damen.
They're coming, go. They're coming, go. They're coming. So guys, here, if you look here, you can see the facade of Luxor Temple during Ramses II. If you count with me how many obelisks, you can see 1. You can see it? All of you guys? And the second one here.
Yep.
How many statues? 1, 2, 3,
6.
4, 5, 6. How many flags?
4.
1, 2, exactly, 3, 4. This is the facade of Luxor Temple during Ramses II. But by the way, the statues, as you can see, profiles, because they couldn't, draw the picture, by face. So all see is profiles. About those guys, all of them sons of Ramses II. How many sons of Ramses II? If you look in front of each one of them, you can see flower, then duck. You can see it?
Yeah.
All the way. What does it mean? We call Sani Su. This hieroglyphic transliteration. What does it mean? Sani Su, the son of the king. The son of the king, all of them, sons of Ramses II. And also at the same time, if you look, not the kings, with the crown. But if you look those, they tied their head inside the look, yes, they tied their head, still, prince, not king, not yet. So all of them, they're going to present, offering for the statues of the gods Amun, Mut, Khonsu here in front of the temple. Some of them over there, they brought, animals like cow or buffalo or something like this. They're going to sacrifice all these animals here in front of Luxor Temple for the gods. Okay, guys? Here guys, you can see 2 men. Both of them, if you look guys carefully, you see look like man, false beard. but look like lady also. Breast. Pregnant like lady. So half and half. This one we call him Habi. Habi or Habi in Arabic, God of the Nile. So why you can see God of the Nile, male and female, half and half. As the ancient Egyptians, they believe the water fertilizes the land. Then supposed to be, they imagine, God of the Nile is supposed to be fertility, something for fertility. So they draw the picture of the God of the Nile, male and female, half and half together. But why you can see two of them, not one? One of them for north, one of them for south. If you look and see two flowers, papyrus and lotus, and they tying the two flowers together because Simatawi. Simatawi, this means unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. Here you can see two lungs. Why two lungs was the God of the Nile? Because the same idea. The water give life to all of us. Also the lungs also give life to all of us. The same idea. Here we can see those guys, enemies, prisoners. They tied, their head next, all of them, and there's the names of those prisoners. If you look behind you can see different faces, not the same. So African and Asian, different countries, not the same. Guys, in the way back pictures, huh? Hello?
God.
In the way back, huh? So guys, about all these statues, alabaster also. Supposed to be for King Tutankhamun. But nowadays the name we can it's not King Tutankhamun, name Ramses II. Why Ramses II? Because Ramses II he defaced the name King Tut and he carved his name. By the way guys, you know the story of King Akhenaten? You know his story? The father of King Tutankhamun. About King Akhenaten. His name not Akhenaten. The first name for him Amenhotep number 4. Amenhotep the fourth. This man he married the queen Nefertiti. This man he lived here and he was king. Suddenly he changed his name and his religion from.
You only worship one God.
Yes, exactly.
Ready to share that?
So this king, he changed his name and his religion from Amenhotep the fourth into Akhenaten, from God Amun to Aton. The Aton, the rays of the sun. But this time he couldn't stay here in Luxor. Why? Because all the people here, they consider the Amun their God, not the Aton. So many fighting between him and those priests and all here. So he couldn't stay here. He left to where? To Almenia. Or Tell Amarna now, Almenia or Tell Amarna. About 4 or 5 hours driving from here. He lived there and he died there. But this man, he got boy. He called him Tutankhaten. Tutankhaten. After the death of his father Akhenaten, this boy he couldn't stay there. He came back to Luxor. But all as I mentioned, all of them they consider Amun their God, the main God for them. So he changed his name and also his religion from Tutankhaten into Tutankhamun. So he lived here and he died young. He died about 19 years old. So what is by the way, what does it mean Tutankhamun? Anybody knows? Tut means statue or image. Ankh, life or live. Amun is God Amun. So the living image or the living statue of God Amun Ra. This is what does it mean? Tutankhamun. So guys? السلام عليكم، اخبارك يا دكتور؟ اخبارك الزحمات؟
ترى قبل راجل دخل على جبل عرفات قلنا حجك يا حاج. ترى راجل جينا بالسلامة من شر الطريق.
Guys, if you remember the story of the honeymoon for Amun and his wife, they brought the statues here in Luxor, and they have festival also here in this temple. Those guys here, if you look, they sacrifice animals. You can see them. All of them, they sacrifice animals. Here, food. Here also meat, and here also food. Here, girls, they have something called rattle for music. Here you can see those girls. You can see them. Come closer, guys. See them? The girls. You see them? They don't look like acrobat or something like that. Just dancing exactly. This one for the honeymoon for the god. Also here again offering. You can do like this.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe by. God, you made it.
Open court. The first part, as I mentioned, for King Ramses II. But this all, for the king Amenhotep III. So Amenhotep III, he built on soil. The Ramses II, he added the first part of the temple. If you look, guys, about the art of during Amenhotep III, you can see the columns look like what? Yes, all the columns look like flowers. If you remember in Karnak, the column one stem. Like one piece or one flower, but here many flowers, many stems together, and they tie them. So the art during Quran time changed. For example, during Ramses II, not like Amenhotep III, not like Hatshepsut, all of them different. About here, the soil, the columns, also again it's same. You can see many stems together, supposed to be new colors. If you look, guys, it's supposed to be the flower itself, the stem in the middle, around the stem supposed to be leaves. Here they draw something similar. If you look, guys, here, that color looks like leaves around the stem. You can see it. Also here and here, for example. It's supposed to be around the stem to be leaves. So the draw, this one looks like leaves around the stem of the flower. If you look, guys, at the corner there, you can see colors. What do you think it's for?
Coptic.
Exactly. So the first part is temple, then most for Muslims, here for Coptic. But why here, Coptic? Because during Ramadan they left inside the temple, some of them, and they covered all of it with plaster. Then they draw all these pictures. Here they started years ago cleaning. So you can see it's like horses for some tourists. You can see it? They start but not finished yet. Because first, by the way, supposed to be all this like here. You can see the colors like this one. But this one they finished and we saw this picture. Inshallah, in the future every year they cleaning. So maybe they're gonna find more picture here on the slide. Also here about those columns, two columns, not pharaonic. Some Roman or Coptic also. For the design, if you look at the capital, not the same like the one during pharaonic or Greeks. This during Coptic time. see, you can see here the king is offering to the God. More than 40 keys. All of it offering. You know, the king is offering to the God. For example, you see the king. The king is offering. Over there, you know, cow, for this, that side, they sacrifice animals. All of them, you know, the king is offering to the gods. But here we can see while those guys they carry the boat of the god. You see them with red color. You see them standing and carrying something on top of their shoulders. You can see them, guys.
Okay.
Those, you know, greases. By the way, those guys they have to be clean. How? They shave their heads and body to be clean in front of the statues of the gods. If you look, guys, in the corner here, you can see colors. Those colors, that part, 1 year ago, supposed to be like this. They started here cleaning. No painting, no touch, you know, just a cleaning. And you can see the colors like that. You can see red and blue, you know, still, you know, because they say preservation, but if they clean. They restart and they're going to do this room all of it like that.
Pretty much the same song. Same song, just small.
Guys, if you look first on this. 1 year, 1 year. Can see it? What's this? What thing is for? What? Guys, you know the space for the columns. Supposed to be columns here. 1 column here, 1 column there, and the outside too. So in this room, supposed to be 4 columns. When Alexander the Great came and he conquered Egypt, 332 BC, he moved these columns and he built this room in the middle. Why Alexander the Great he built this room in the middle here, in the Luxor Temple? Alexander the Great, when he came here, he found the Egyptians, they like, you know, the god, religion. So he built this room for the god to accept him as the king. But like everybody, you know, maybe there was any person that would like to do something good for them. So he built this room for the god to accept him as king. And you can see him, you know, he wears black Egyptians, crown, black Egyptians. The name, you know his name? He wrote his name inside cartoon, black Egyptian. So you can see him, for example, the Alexander, who is the fertility god. Alexander was God Amun-Ra. Here again was fertility god. And by the way, his name. This one, for example, please come closer, guys. About the name Alexander the Great. His name we say nowadays Alexander, but most of the Greek name is supposed to be end by S. If you look here, A-L-K-S-E-N-D-R-S. So his name Alexandrus. So the real name of Alexander, Alexander. So his name inside cartouche. So Alexander the Great, he didn't conquer Egypt, but Egypt conquered him because he changed to be Egyptian. Everything, you know, Egyptian. So guys, if you look at the room for Alexander, this room, you know, during Pharaonic time. So you can see big difference, the art. You know, you can see the animals, how it looks like, everything details. Here look like that side. During Pharaonic time, much better than the art during Alexander the Great. Holding flower, you can see it? Papyrus. The other side, different flowers. Lotus. So north and south, see also the king during his time, he ruled all Egypt, north and south together. Guys, it's the last room, supposed to be for the statue of God, Amun-Ra. It's like, the room in Karnak. Holy sanctuary to keep statues of God, but the roof, destroyed. The colors also, you can see the color now. So the sun. Also supposed to be some rooms, close to this room to keep offering for the statue of the God. This about, guys, Luxor Temple. About the name of this temple, Luxor, what does it mean, Luxor? Anybody knows?
Luxor.
Yes.
So it's actually Luxor, it's the name, the local name.
But what does it mean? Al-Aqsa, guys, from Al-Qusur. Al-Qusur means palaces. So city of palaces. What does it mean? When the Arab people, also Arabic name. When the Arab people, they came, there's so many temples, here, big buildings, so they call city of palaces. This what does it mean, Al-Aqsa. Guys, it's about Karnak and Luxor. Do you have any questions about those?
What do you talk Amon's name? Amon was after the god. What was his name originally? What did the last
Tut.
word of his name go?
Tut, mean image or statue.
Yeah, image, and the last word being god. But his name was different the first time, and he changed it. You said.
Yes, Tut and Aton.
What did Aton mean?
Aton is the god, sun god, the rays of the sun.
Sorry.
He gave him a clock. He went to Muhammad Ali Muslim Cairo. You see the clock there? It doesn't work at all, huh? So they gave him a clock and he gave them obelisk still till now in France. After look, the obelisk, guys, Ram's second meeting in front of God Amun-Ra. How many statues supposed to be? 6 statues. If you look, 2 statues sitting behind the obelisk, 1 statue. So 2 sitting here, 1 standing there, but supposed to be 4 standing, 2 sitting. Some of them you can see them destroyed. About the facade of the tower itself, King Ram II, you can see him. They went all the way from here to Karnak Temple. About 2.7 kilometers or 2 kilometers like that, road and fence. The lion body from the head of the king who built this temple, his name Amenhotep III. The one who built, by the way, to be started for the memory of Islam, the same king. About the temple dedicated to the main gods again, Amun, Mut, Khonsu. But the main purpose of this temple, because King Amenhotep III, Hatshepsut, for example, the same idea for Hatshepsut she did. Hatshepsut lady. It's so difficult for her to accept her as a queen. Hatshepsut, she published when she ruled something like propaganda that the main god in her time, he married her mom, Amun-Ra. He married her mom, so Hatshepsut, she said, my Amun-Ra, my father. So easy for her to be a queen. The same idea for the Pharaoh, Amenhotep III. He said, Amun-Ra, my father, and he married my mom, so I am the son of the god. So they accepted him as a king. But why he did this? Because this king, his mother also was a queen. Because supposed to be all the kings, they rule, their parents, king and queen. So he did, this, and he dealt with the priests. The priests, they helped him. So he dealt with them, he mentioned to them, I'm gonna build, the temple, and you have to help me. So why the priests, they helped him? The priests, they helped him because with his horse, he's fighting. Fighting with people, we call them Hittites. Hittites, nowadays, Syrian. So famous battle between Ram II and Hittites. This battle called Kadesh battle. What happened in this battle? By the end of this battle, Ramses II, he married one of the daughters of this country, Syria. And you can see him while he's fighting with those guys. About the windows here, supposed to be 4 windows. 2 here and 2 the other side, and also vertical grooves so each for 1 window. So guys, we're gonna see behind that tower the mosque. Why built by man, his name. They worked on the temple, and the people, they gave them offering. So they take the offering for themselves, and also same time they helped him to be king. So that both of them, they helped each other. Then start by Amenhotep the third. The first part finished by Ramses II. So the temple by two pharaohs, Amenhotep the third, then Ramses II. But we have small statues for King Tut. We have a small room for Alexander the Great. Also have some things for Muslims inside, some things for Coptic. So many things inside this one. So the first thing, then we can see here two obelisks. One of them nowadays in France. Lastly, la Concord. Muhammad Ali Pasha gave it as a gift to them.